2 Seattle cops get fired, one for running over a woman in the crosswalk, one for running his mouth about it. Took them 2 years to get this thing figured out. Why so long? A failure of the entire system. That's how. My name's Kevin. This is Badgecast. I'm a former police officer with 12 years of experience. I'm here to break this and everything in law enforcement, public safety down for you. Let's get into it. So we got this first article here. Seattle police identify the officer that was struck. So this is happened way back January 31st, 2023. And this officer was responding to an overdose. Apparently up in Seattle, they have cops that are EMTs as well. So they serve double duty and they go out and handle medical calls when fire's too busy, I guess. I don't know. Maybe they were washing a truck or taking a nap. But so this guy was responding to this call, flying down the city street, and ends up taking out this chick in the sidewalk. Well, gets out, performs some medical aid. Everybody else shows up. They get a fire truck and an ambulance over there, take her to the hospital. She dies. Then the chief puts out a statement over here. Says all the usual things about how he saddened by the terrible tragedy, which it was. Poor woman died for just crossing the street in a crosswalk. Clear investigation. We're going to take our time, do our due diligence, all that good stuff. Yeah. So the thing about this is why is Seattle PD investigating their own people? Whenever we had a TC, and I'll be saying TC throughout this whole video because that's just the way it went for me back then. Traffic collision, TC. Well, in a TC that involved an on-duty police vehicle, we'd always have the highway patrol come take care of it. That way it removed all issues related to us investigating our own people. Well, apparently up here in Seattle, they just want to run their own guys through it. I already got questions. We got body cam, we got dash cam. You know, what are we going to see out of this thing? So that's the chief's statement. This guy apparently was driving really fast. I think they knew that right away. But the guy that was driving the patrol car, is he on admin leave? Well, we're going to find out that here in a little bit because we found out way over here in a New York Post article that way down in the bottom, there was, he got reassigned to some administrative duty, and we'll get into that one later. But some foreshadowing for you. So that was January 23rd. Chief comes out with a statement 7 days later. It took him a whole 7 days to get it figured out. Well, then it took their traffic investigation unit an entire 6 months to come up with a report. And they came out with this. They found out that the guy that was driving, what was his name? Kevin Dave. Apparently he's driving 74 miles an hour down this residential street. This is the intersection that this Politico found the overhead shot. Looks like a pretty big intersection. You know, again, you're rolling code across town. You probably should be clearing intersections a little better, not blowing them at 74 miles an hour. But the report came out, and what this part right here, who makes this kind of a statement in a police report? Had he been going 50 miles an hour, it would have been okay. That would have been fine. 50 miles an hour would have been just A-okay. Don't know how they came up to that conclusion. Yeah. I still don't get it. Why is he going 75 miles an hour, 74 miles an hour across town? I got a lot of questions about this crash. So you guys know, I was an accident reconstructionist for 5 years, the last 5 years I was working, and I handled many fatals. And many of the fatals that I figured out were all figured out based on time distance analysis. And we'll get into that at the end if you want to nerd out with me at the end of this video. But I don't understand why there's not a more thorough investigation. They got some photos of the car, this and that. And then as a result of the investigation, they did a Public Information Request Act for the body cam of the guy driving. So we got that. Let's listen to that real quick.
Kevin Dave chirps his police sirens. The roar of his engine heard on his body camera. His speedometer shows acceleration up to 74 miles per hour, responding to a priority 1 call, but within seconds.
3 Mary 2, started supervisor, start fire for a struck pedestrian.
Is it the same location, sir?
Negative.
Janavi Kandula was in the crosswalk at the Thomas and Dexter intersection when Dave's patrol car hit her. King County Prosecuting Attorney's Office released the video after Fox 13's public records request. First published by Publicola, the video shows Dave performing CPR on Kandula moments after hitting her as several first responders start showing up.
You all right? No.
Take a look at this dude. He's going to look familiar later on the video. He's on the left.
Officials say Dave was initially on his way to an overdose on January 23rd. It was a priority 1 call, which the department classifies as the highest priority of calls.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Again, there's another interesting part of this TC report that said that he was chirping the siren as he was going through intersections at 75 miles an hour. I got some code sections for you here in a second. Here's another article from the local news agency up there in Seattle. They kind of got their information from that Politico article, so they're just kind of plagiarizing it back across. But so he had his lights on and was chirping a siren as he headed down. She was in the crosswalk. She saw me. Oh, this is his statement on the body cam. She started running in the crosswalk. I slammed on my brakes. Instead of staying back where she was, she just zipped across. Hey, man, if you're going 50, though, that's what the report said you could have done. Apparently, there's a 25-mile-an-hour zone there. Yeah, a drug recognition expert. That was your drug recognition expert, that guy that was there in the middle. You'll see him here again in a minute because he's the dude running his mouth. So anyway, another quick little topic. Okay, so this whole chirping the siren thing. Code 1 is usually just, you're just driving around town doing stuff. Not really looking, just looking for things, not going to a call, nothing like that. Code 2, you're actively going somewhere, you're going to a call, no lights, no siren, nothing like that. And code 3 would be lights and sirens in an emergency situation. Here in California, you got to have your lights and siren active at all times. You can't be chirping that stuff. That's where this little gray area comes in. It's not going to be any codes, not going to be any sections. And here in California, called code 2.5. Sometimes guys put lights on the back. Sometimes you pull up to an intersection, you just light up real quick, chirp the siren real time, go through, thinking that might get you out of the code 3 response because you're not authorized to go code 3 somewhere. So in my opinion, this dude was going code 2.5. But according to the Washington Vehicle Code, it talks about the exemptions for going code 3, lights and siren. But down here, in the exemptions area, it says that you have to use your lights all the time, which he was doing, and then use your audible signals when necessary to warn others of an emergency nature and situation. If he says he's chirping the siren at every intersection, maybe that's enough for the vehicle code. You know, I'm not in Washington. Maybe you guys are from Washington. You guys can comment down below. Let me know what you think. But I don't think that's going to fly of you just chirping the siren a couple times as you're rolling down the street at 75 miles an hour. Anyway, let's go through just that quick little timeline again. Okay, so January 23rd, 2023, the TC happens. Chief puts out a statement 7 days later on the 30th. Took the TC unit 6 months or so, 5 months to get the report out. Well, then the Associated Press article, where'd it go? That one's not there anymore. Anyway, that was the Associated Press article that was going to talk about how the DA's office is not going to file any charges on the guy for him driving and running her over. Instead, the interesting quirk in all of this, let's see if I can find that again. Why didn't that come up? Put his name in there. 1 second. Let's get this back up. Oh, that's the later one. Man, so you guys are getting all kind of foreshadowing in this one. Anyway, so the guy you saw back in the video, scroll it down because I think his mug's down here. No, he's in the New York Times article. Down here in the New York Times article, this schmuck apparently was running his mouth in the body cam. And his comments talking about how he apparently is the vice president of the POA, Police Officer Association. He calls the president of the POA to let him know what happened so that in the event they want to start working on something to protect the guy that was driving, that guy's also in the traffic division that was doing the investigation. He was the drug analysis guy. So this guy apparently, after the TC, starts running his mouth about how the poor young lady that got run over was not really worth it, and how they should just write checks and make this whole thing go away. That's all kinds of bad. So this guy, he ends up getting himself fired too. This guy gets investigated from basically the time it happened until obviously the investigation started in 23 sometime, but it took them a whole over a year probably to figure out how to fire this guy. And they hit him with the catch-all of conduct unbecoming an officer. Employees shall strive for professional standards. Well, we didn't have any other policy violations, so we're just going to hit you with just being a jerk, and fired him. I don't know. Maybe he's got some other personnel issues again, just like last video. We don't know what in this guy's P file, but clearly they wanted him to go, but I think it was more so from the media pressure of everything that was going on that they cut him loose. He claims that he intended to be a mockery of lawyers and that laughed at the ridiculousness of the situation. Let me see, right up here I think is where, yeah, right here. $11,000. She's only 26. Just write the check. Her life was of limited value. I don't know. Those are pretty inflammatory for that dude. So anyway, we keep moving. Well, now here we are. This just happened, which is why it's all coming up now again, is a couple days ago, last week, Seattle finally got around to firing the guy that was driving the car. So nearly 2 years after the incident, they finally kick it around. Well, they had to wait until this Citizen Advisory Committee, Council, what do they call it? Office of Police Accountability. So they finally got around to doing it. Well, their recommendations, they had like 4 different policy violations that he did. And they say that he violated these 4 policies, so therefore he should be fired. I don't know how you guys feel about these police citizen advisory committees. I don't know. I think they have a position. They should have some people from the outside, but I don't think it should be all based off them. They haven't been in the academy. They don't know the training. Like, we can talk about it, but that's a tough call right there. Do I think this guy should have been fired? He probably should have been fired for this. This is pretty egregious. Driving 75 miles an hour on a city street, trying to go to some overdose that was somebody for cocaine or something. I don't know. I think that's probably a little too much. Again, we don't know what's in that guy's P file either. So maybe he's got a big old history and they just wanted to kick him loose, but, took him all the way until some interim chief finally wanted to, pony it up to kick this guy loose. Well, as you all would expect, and here it is, the math, if you stayed this long, if I was doing this crash and I was going to investigate this guy, I would know exactly where this chick was standing, exactly where this dude was at driving. There's specific places, and you can do the math, you can run the numbers, you get all these distances of where the TC originated, where the pedestrian landed, and you can do the math to figure out what happened, where it happened, and where people were standing. Just back up everybody in the situation back to where they were when they started, when they could see each other. This guy could have been 4 intersections back when this chick first stepped off the sidewalk. And, there was maybe some information in this TC report that we don't have, that she was wearing headphones. How is she going to hear the siren anyway? Maybe she didn't see the lights because she's looking at her phone. Everyone's walking around looking at their phones these days. I don't know. Well, everybody decided to sue everybody because Officer Kevin Dave thinks he needs his job back because he was following policy and following some state law, and how the DA's office declined to prosecute him. Oh, but the city attorney did. The city attorney wrote him a $5,000 ticket for violating some city code or something. Real smack you on the ass on the way out the door. $5,000 city ticket? Get out of here. Well, also the guy that was running his mouth, he also thinks that he needs a $20 million payout because they leaked some of his information and leaked his termination letter that we saw back over here, wherever it ended up. And yeah. Oh, it's over here. There's his termination letter. I don't know. We need more transparency on this stuff. I don't think this guy should get the 20 million either. He was running his mouth, saying things he shouldn't have been saying. Guy running through intersections at 75 miles an hour, killing people. I mean, that dude's lucky he didn't get criminally charged. That's what this new deputy chief thought. Thought this guy needed to be rung up for murder charges driving this car. So what do you guys think? Get some comments going in the description below, and tell me what you think. I'll get back with you as well. And if you like this kind of content, you want to see it coming some more, like this video, share it with your friends, and give me a subscribe. Let me know what you think. See you in the next one.